Hey, what's up, peeps? We are on day 3 of live streaming Unity programming sessions. Um, I was just looking at the game doc um, with all the features that need to be added, and pretty much we are pretty close to being done, actually. We took some steps to pretty much get halfway on some of the features, and I have this little list here of stuff that needs to be done. And if you remember yesterday, we started doing the credits. We made the scene for the credits. We have we don't have a fully done picture. The image isn't fully as it's supposed to fit on the screen, but we have an image. We have it so that if you press a button, you can go back to the level select, and we tested on level 5 that it would work. If you select level 5, it'll go to the credits, and then we changed it to level 51. So in theory, when we beat the game and get to level 51, we should be able to see the credits. So the other thing is the tutorial messages. The tutorial messages is pretty much going to be the same as the menu. So the only difference is that the menu has the command for every button, whereas the tutorial messages are going to be on each level, or on 4 of the levels, and it's only going to have like 1 or 2 of the commands at a time. So it kind of just progresses through the game, showing a new tutorial message in addition to being able to see them on the start menu. So since we already did the menu, we already did all the pieces for that, and it's just going to be a matter of putting each piece into each level. And so the other thing we needed to do was the character select and unlocking stuff. So right today, it's already past midnight, so I'm not really planning to program for that long. So I'm not even sure how much of this I'm going to get accomplished. However, we're going to try to get all 3 done if we can. And at the bottom of this list, I have stuff. We kind of started working on the walking speed thing. I think there was like 1 or 2 more that we needed to finish fixing, but I have that as a later thing. It's going to be kind of more of a polished thing because it doesn't really matter. So just in terms of getting the game done, we're going to focus on the top few tasks that we have there. The resolution fixes, that's going to be something that I need to test on multiple devices. I have a iPhone, iPad, PC. I guess I could do a Linux and Mac, and then I also have an Amazon tablet. I think I should be able to do that for Android. So that's going to be device dependent, and we're probably not going to get it perfect. So, and then the last thing, this is probably going to be done before the other 2. So, and that's just to add touch controllers, and that's pretty much going to be essential for tablets and whatnot. So not only, okay, so there's one command that we need to somehow map to the touch. But then we also need the menus and the level select. So we want to be able to press any of the levels and go into that level. The way it's working now is if you touch on the level select screen, it'll just start whatever level is highlighted, which can work for getting through the game, but you're not, like, once you beat the game, you're not going to be able to go back. So we got to fix that. And then buttons, basically buttons on top of that stuff. So now that we have the credits, we can actually, I'm actually going to start by taking off the credits from the title screen. Oh, and actually, one thing I forgot was on the Vita version. I should make this smaller so that the aspect ratio doesn't get out of control. On the Vita version, I had it. I think if you press select or something like that, it would show you the credits even if you didn't beat the game. Because I don't want this guy to sue me for using his music without giving him credits. So I'm gonna take that off right now, and I'm gonna move this down. So another thing that I would want to add for this is I want to make it so that the press enter to start blinks, it disappears and it reappears, so that it kind of like takes the player's focus and they know what to do to start the game. Okay, I think I'm actually gonna start with the tutorial messages. So that's actually going to be on the main game. So save that title screen change. And then we need to open the script. So the script that this is going to be in is probably the level generator script. So that's the script that once a level is chosen and we start the level, it creates, all the blocks, all the enemies and all that stuff. So in addition to creating all that stuff, I want to have a menu at the bottom, or like a little display dialog box that shows the message of the tutorial. So that's going to be the first thing that I want to do today. Okay, so since we have one script generating every level, we have to make it so that it knows if we're on level 1, show this message. If we're on level 2, show this message. And then I believe it's 9 and 10 are going to have tutorial messages. And then none of the other levels really have a message, because we're going to hope that the player gets the idea of how to do it by the time that they get to level 10. We wanna show the player what to do, then give them a chance to mess around, show them, hey, these are 2 other skills that you can use, and then just kind of let them figure out the rest of the game. Back in the day, games used to just throw you in, but now most games have a tutorial. It's in my opinion that there's a fine line between a tutorial and just letting the player play, because you don't want the player to you want the player to get into the game as soon as possible. You don't want them to say, oh, I have to go through this tutorial, and then they just like mindlessly go through it and they're gonna ignore it anyway. So you just want to give them a little bit of tutorial, and you want to try to do it in a way that doesn't stop them from playing the game. So my idea is just to display a little dialog box with, okay, press this button, and that's what you do. It's up to you what you want to do from there on. All right, so enough introduction. Let's get into the coding. So we have a way to tell what level we're currently on, and we're using a switch. So switch stage is a variable, I guess it's an int, that holds the number of what stage we're on. So we're going to be able to use that to determine what tutorial message to display. So as you can see, this is what's generating the level. This stuff right here, it's basically a 11 by 19 array, or it could be 12 by 20, depending if it starts on 0 or 1. And basically it just stores a bunch of numbers in the array, and then what it does is, 0 is a blank space, 1 could be a block, and like 2 or 3 is an enemy. So I have a for loop that just goes through the array and then just creates whatever it's supposed to create on that tile. And then depending on so if it's a block, it's just going to be stationary and stay there. Or if it's an enemy, it's going to start there, but it's going to be able to move. So, so yeah, that's kind of a tangent, but we're going to use that same number since we're using that to determine what's going to be on the level. So we're literally going to scroll down past 50 levels worth of that, and we're going to try to find, where we can squeeze this in. So the bulk of this whole file right here is like this. From here to down here is just the code, the numbers that determine what's being generated for the level. So even though it looks like a lot of code, it's not really that much code. There is an update down here, which is what happens every frame. So this is kind of saying, this is kind of keeping track of how many enemies are on the screen, and if there's 0 enemies, you move on to the next level. And then there's some input type of things going on. And then this stuff right here, this is what's actually generating the level. Bam. And so that's pretty much, so that all this stuff is happening once, and then this stuff happens every frame, and then there's stuff up here for the setup. So yeah, so since we already have the stage, what we're gonna do is we're gonna come down here and we're gonna say if stage equals 1, then we're gonna do XYZ. And so knowing that it's gonna be stage 1, 2, 9, and 10, and I just know that off the top of my head, let's make 4 if statements. 9 and 10. So basically all we're gonna do is create an object the same way we did up here. We're gonna have like what kind of object it is. 1, what kind of object it is. 2, the position. And I think that's really pretty much it. So I'm gonna look back on the pause menu script, which was forget which one it was. Character spawn. No, I think it was actually character spawn. Or was it let's go back and look at the prefabs. So if we come down here, this is dude script. Oh, we're looking at it actually in here. The unpause script and then D-pad dude script. So it's neither of those. I think it's part of the background maybe. Yeah, okay, so it's the character spawn script. Alright, so we're just gonna take our same ideas off of that. So character spawn. So remember we had the public game object declaration. Then we had creating the object on a specific vector. And the vector is a coordinate. It's not actually like a vector in physics. I think it can be actually, depending on how you use it, but we're just using it as a coordinate. Okay, so we're going to want to create 4 different game objects. Well, it might actually be better to put this on oh, this is the level generator. Character spawn. It might just be better to put it in here, since this stuff is already set up here. Oh, actually, so this is the character spawn. The one we're looking for is the enemy spawn? Or is this good enough? No, actually, the enemy spawn is here. And actually, we're going to want to use the character spawn because those are the characters we want to spawn. Yeah. So no. I think that's actually on Dynamite Dude himself. Dude script. The dude script. Oh yeah, right. The dude script has all of these. And I think I was actually talking yesterday about moving all of this to the oh, nothing is linked here. About moving this to the background so that it's the one generating the menu. Why is nothing linked here? So I'm thinking the pause menu is not going to work. Yeah, the variable has not been assigned. Okay, so it looks like it might be better to just move that stuff over to the level generator script or to the character spawn script. I mean, it doesn't really matter because so the level generator script and the character spawn script and this script are all going to be available no matter what if we're in a level. So it doesn't really matter. The difference is just putting the code, putting all the stuff in. And since it's kind of already on one spot, we might as well just keep using it on that spot, if that makes any sense. So if we're gonna move it, we might as well wait until it's already done all in one spot and then move it. So yeah, these are the ones that we want to use here in dude script. Let's find where all this stuff is getting done. But yeah, the dude script should just be like character movement. There's a lot of stuff here that doesn't really need to be here, but that's okay. I'm still not seeing where it is. I want to say that it's probably towards the top. I guess we'll just search for instantiate. So that's dynamite. Okay, here we go. So this is, it's saying when you press enter or return. So what we can do is, since we have an if statement here, we can copy our ifs that we were going to do here and have those in the same spot as the other ifs. Did we do any other setup here? No. Okay, so since these are already kind of, all these objects are kind of set up here already, we can just copy it down here, with the only thing being that in addition to the generic menu icon, we're also going to need to have a different menu for each message. So I might actually already have that in sprites. Yeah, so here we have level 1, level 2, level 9, and level 10. So what I'll do is I might just, I think I could drag this onto the stage. Probably want that to be above this. So make this as, wait, it's on Z2, this is on Z0. So make this Z -1. Oops. Z -1. Okay, so this is going to be on top here. And let me make sure that's saved here, because something weird happened to this stuff. Because a lot of the stuff just came unhooked. A lot of stuff that was already set up. I wonder why that happened. That's kind of weird. Okay, so how can I do? Oh, I think I see why. Because we did it on the sprite that was here. We did it on the sprite that was on the stage here, on the scene, but we didn't actually do it onto the prefab, so I'm not really sure how that's gonna be. Maybe we could just drag it from here, I guess. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's what happened. When we changed it to be spawning from the code instead of from the stage, from the scene, we forgot about this, that everything was linked. So it shouldn't really be a problem. Square, circle, L, and R. So yeah, we're gonna have to do that for each character. And as far as this goes, we can make copies of this, I guess. And we need a total of 4, so we're gonna take the first one and we're gonna change the sprite. Instead of using the how to play sprite, we'll use the level 1 sprite, and we'll do that all the way down to level 2, level 9, and level 10. Okay, that looks good. Let's zoom in on this. Okay, so what this is gonna do is it's gonna say press this button or press this combination of buttons, and this is gonna happen. So it's basically gonna be the same thing as the menu, except it's gonna be only for specific buttons. What I'll do is I'll set them up in the right position. Actually, I'm going to rename them. So this is going to be level 1. This is, I think that's, I can't even actually see, circle. Oh, okay, so that one's going to be a little bit different. So that's level 2. So we might have to make a new script for that. Level 3. Or level 9, I should say. Level 9. And then level 10. And actually want to keep that together, level 9. Okay, so this should have the same properties as the other menu, except we don't want it to have the unpause script, because then it'll disappear and we won't be able to bring it back. So we're going to remove that. Remove that. And then instead of spawning on press start, it's just going to spawn as long as the level is being played. That number level is being played. Okay, so technically these are all going to be on the same position essentially. So we don't even have to mess with the position, which is good. Let's see. Can I get a better view of this? Something like that, right? So these seem a little bit on the small side. But we're gonna, for right now, we're gonna trust that it's actually the right size. I'm gonna put this around right about there. And then we're just gonna try to center it as best as possible. So I think if we set the X to 0, it should be centered. And then we could set this to -200. All right, that looks close enough. So let's see what happens if you set this to 0. Yeah, it's perfectly centered. Actually, let's do 210 instead of 200. 210. So that makes life easier, that we could just set this up by coordinates. Okay, so that's perfect. 210. And so these are not actually going to be stacked on top of each other like that. All I'm doing now is setting it up so that it has the coordinates that it's supposed to have. And so now all we have to do is copy this over to the prefab folder. The same spot where the menu is and the same spot where the moving sprites are. 9 and 10. And so they should all already have the positions that set up so that they're on top of the background. And now we could delete these from here. Bam. Okay, so we're gonna come back to the code and say if stage equals 1, game object. So we're gonna come up here and then just do the same thing with this that we did with the other one. So we're gonna make a game object for each one, and we'll just call it public game object. Not publice, that doesn't sound right. And we need a capital O on the object. And we're gonna copy this. Actually, we could call it level 1, right? And then copy that down. And then just go level 2, level 9, and level 10. Okay, so that's cool. We got that set up. And so since the vector is all the same, we're just going to make one vector for all of them. And we're going to call that level vector, I guess. And that's going to be 0 and negative 210. And yeah, we're just going to use that. So basically, we're going to come down here, back to the if statement, wherever that was. Here, if stage equals 1. And actually, instead of trying to type it out, let me just copy this from there, paste it here. And so all we're going to do is change game object from what's instantiated from dpad dude to level 1, 1, and then level vect. So now that we have that set up, it's going to be just copying this for the rest of the levels, and then we're going to change the level number on each one. And since the vector is all the same, that's pretty much going to be that. And then the only other things that we also have to spawn an additional character sprite, depending on, that's supposed to be a 9, depending on which button. So we might need another set of vertices, of vectors, I should say, to show where they should spawn. Okay, so now we could actually just attach that to Unity so we can test it. There were build errors. I must have left something. Name stage does not exist in the current context. Okay. Why is that? Or is stage declared? Okay, maybe it's called something else that's not stage. Oh wait, we have to kind of get the stage value from somewhere, because I moved it from level generator, which does have the stage, and this doesn't have the stage. Okay, that's not a problem. We'll actually just use the same variable from here. Stage equals stage. And we'll put that into here. Bam. Stage, and then we'll say in stage. So there's no reason why stage should be empty by the time it gets to this point. So we don't have to initialize stage. Okay. Yeah, that should work. All right, so now that we did that, we should be able to pick stage 1 and see the message pop up, the menu pop up. And I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it on stage 2. So maybe we did something wrong. We're gonna go back to our if statement. Maybe we just put it back. We put it into the wrong spot. Or we might have done an if statement within an if statement or something like that. Update all these stages here. So this is within the so this is actually something that should probably be done in start, now that I think about it, because it's not being done in the menu, or it's not being done based on an input. It's being done as soon as the stage starts. So I'm going to cut this out. And paste it here. Okay, let's try that. Didn't really change that much, but let's try it just to see what happens. Yeah, I didn't see anything there either. Temp object.1. Oh, I know why. So the code is fine. It's because we have to link that. So that's actually going to be a couple more links that we have to do here. Okay, so if we go to menu, and then link level 1 here, level 2, level 9, and level 10. That should work. Let me save there and then run this again. Bam. So that's looking pretty small. I think our sprite scale might be a little off. So if we look here, pixels to unit is 40. Here, it's 100. 100. So that should actually be bigger, or maybe I'm not thinking of pixels to unit the right way. And I hope that I'm just thinking of it the wrong way, because that way it'll just work as soon as it goes in. So let's see what happens. Okay, that's actually beautiful. But I might want to move that down a bit just so it doesn't overlap the blocks. So I'm going to go back here to the prefabs, and I'm going to make it, oh wait, okay, so no. So even though that has its own position, I want to just change it here, actually. Yeah, like right here. So maybe make that a 240 and see what happens. Okay, that's way too much. Yeah, so even though the prefab has its own position, the one in the code overwrites it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So really the only thing, so once we go into level 2, we should be able to see it there. This one seems a little bit taller for some reason. Oh no, maybe it's just a weird resolution bug that keeps happening. So if we quit the game out, come back in, it's fine. But if we go out and in, it moves down. So if we come back here, close the game out, and come back in, then it should be fine. So let's go to level 8. I guess we have to beat level 8 first. Wow, they're moving so fast. It's ridiculous. Oh, Jesus. I think the death trigger isn't working. I messed that up. Okay, I'll take it though. Beautiful. Okay, here's level 9, so it should be here. There it is. And so if we actually follow the tutorial message, we should be able to walk in place and do this and that, and then get the heck out of there. All right. So obviously that should be changed to an X. I'm not sure if we can have it dynamically show what key to press, depending on if they change their settings. And here's level 10, and that's the last tutorial message. So, and that one's just saying to do this. And then that's what I want to try to figure out how to do with just the touch screen. So we got that mostly working. It's getting late, so I'm gonna stop there. But the next step is to have, like, let's say we're here, is to have that same character from the R command down here. And that should just be a matter of calling the R prefab and this R dynamite prefab and giving it that position down here instead of up here. And it's going to be, you're going to be able to, even if the message is there, you're still going to be able to pause it and bring up the menu. So yeah. All right, so we are most of the way done. If we look down here at the notepad, we're most of the way done with the tutorial messages. It's just a matter of getting those characters in there. And then we already have the prefabs for them. We just need new vectors. And then the credits are another thing that are in the game already. It's just a matter of making the game create level 51. And that actually shouldn't even be that hard. It should just be on the level generator. Let's see if it's actually we're gonna have to condense the levels eventually. But let's see if we could actually, if it's actually easy enough that we can do. No, it's not on level generator, it's on level selector. Let's see if it's easy enough that we can do it now. Here. 4i, and then what we gotta say is if max stage is greater than or equal to 51. If max stage is greater than or equal to 51. I was gonna say we're not gonna be able to test it, but the way we're gonna test it is we're gonna change max stage to 5, and then it should just come up. And I'm just gonna, I guess, manually give it a vector. Oh wait, gotta make sure we copy the right one. It's gonna be this one. We're gonna do that. And then position, let's just give it the same position that the tutorial message was on. So let's make a public, no, not a public, a vector 3. Vector 3 credits for the credit. credit level. And we have to set that to something. New vector, whatever. Yeah, the same as this. So it's going to be straight right in the middle. And the y coordinate is actually, I don't know how good that y coordinate is going to be in relation to the bottom row of levels, but that should work as long as we change this to 51. The 51 to a 5. No. Wait. What is this? Oh, okay, yeah. So, level 51. Where's that? Okay, this right here. If max stage is greater than or equal to 5. So, oh, my bad. That should be credit vector or whatever it was. Credit level. Wait, no, was that right? Credit level. Whatever. I was gonna call it credit level vect, but credit level, good enough. Okay. So, let's run that. Go back to the level select. And there it is. So once we get to level 51, we'll be able to select that. So it's a little bit off in terms of where the levels should go. But that's a matter of realigning all these levels and kind of condensing them a little bit more. And that's something we're not going to do today. So I'm going to change that back to being level 51 and then leave that alone. And that's right here. If max stage is greater than or equal to 51. So I'm going to attach that. I'm going to stop that. Then the last thing was the character select. So over here on this screen, we're going to want it so that whenever we press L or R, it's actually deleting the character and then creating a new one. So we're going to put a script on the character itself so that, and we're going to have to make prefabs without any script other than the deletion script. So it's going to be a basically exactly like the pause script, the unpause script, except it's going to go on the L or the R. And that's not even much of a script, so we could do that. We could do part of that. Well, no, we'll leave that tomorrow because we have to do the prefabs. All right, so I'm gonna end it there. We did get something done. We got those menus to pop up, and then we got the cave 51, the credits cave to pop up. So we're good on that. All right, so it's just a little bit further. This is like the nitty-gritty of completing a game, I guess. Not that this game is like super complex or anything, but the nitty-gritty comes here because this is just like not really anything to do with the game itself. It's more like design and layout and polishing and stuff like that. And this is where a lot of people just don't, like, people just make a game and they don't make it like a product. It's just a game that you can play online or whatever, but it's not like a product. So this is just a matter of making it a product. And, you know, if you're going to sell it or if you're going to give it away or whatever, then you'll want to get it to this kind of level. I'm thinking if I should upload this to the HIO page. I mean, it's in decent working condition. It's just that not everything is complete, but it's in pretty decent working condition. So it's actually pretty viable to be uploaded. So I might, depending on if I find time, I might upload it. And I'll let you guys know on social media. Oops. Social media, Game on the Brain, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook, and that's it. Any of those, follow any of those, whichever one you prefer the most. I will usually try to make it a visual post so that I can actually put it on Instagram. If not, then I'll write out some text and then I'll post the text as a picture on Instagram. And so with that, I will leave you guys. Look forward to that upload. I will definitely try to do it. It's just a matter of finding time. I think I should be able to do it. If not tomorrow morning, then after work. Or maybe even at lunchtime. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll